Look at this guy and tell me what comes to your mind first when you see him. Maybe a nice, good looking, helpful guy. Someone who's probably great with kids, soft spoken, and always there to lend a hand when someone's in need. Seems like the type of guy you trust immediately, right? But what if I told you that there's something more to him, something deeper and darker? Behind the charming smile and calm demeanor lies one of the most complex, terrifying minds you could ever encounter. Meet Johan Liebert from the anime Monster. Now, Johan isn't your typical villain. In fact, he's terrifying in a way that feels too real. His calm exterior hides one of the most dangerous minds in the anime history. But beyond his evil actions, there's something about him that stands out: his unshakable confidence. He's always in control, never flinches, and has this chilling ability to influence everyone around him. In this video, we'll look at 4 unique traits of Johan that can actually teach us about how to be more confident in our own lives, without of course becoming a villain. So let's get started. Impeccable charisma. When it comes to Johan's charisma, it's almost mesmerizing. Imagine being able to walk into a room, have people listen to every word you say, and effortlessly make them trust you. That's what Johan does in Monster, and his charm isn't about being loud or over-friendly. It's subtle, but it's powerful. His words are like a gentle wave that pulls people in without even them realizing it. This kind of communication is a skill we can all learn to develop, not for manipulation like Johan, but to genuinely connect with others and build confidence in our own interactions. There's a particular scene in Monster where Johan meets with a character named Carl Newman. Carl is searching for his father, and Johan, knowing this, listens to him with deep empathy and carefully crafted words. Johan doesn't push his agenda right away, he lets Carl open up first. This creates a bond where Carl begins to trust Johan, and slowly, without Carl even realizing it, Johan steers the conversation, leading Carl to reveal more about his vulnerabilities. It's so subtle that you can barely notice the manipulation happening, and yet Johan's charisma makes it possible. This scene is a perfect example of how communication goes beyond just talking. Johan's charm comes from knowing how to listen, how to read the room, and then choosing his words carefully. He doesn't waste time talking about things that don't matter. He connects directly with what the other person needs to hear. That's the secret to his charisma. He makes people feel seen and heard. Now, how do we take this and apply it in our own lives in a positive way? It all starts with listening. Most of us are so focused on what we're going to say next that we forget to really hear the person in front of us. Try this. The next time you're having a conversation, focus completely on the other person. Listen not only to their words but also to their tone, their body language, and what they're really trying to say. Then respond in a way that shows you understand them. This simple act can create a strong connection and make people feel valued. And guess what? When people feel that you genuinely understand them, they naturally start trusting you more. You can also work on choosing your words carefully. Instead of just talking to fill the silence, think about how your words will impact the person you are speaking to. Ask yourself, how can I make this conversation more meaningful? When you do this consistently, you'll notice a substantial boost in your confidence in social situations. You'll know you can navigate conversations with purpose, and that's a huge boost to your confidence. In everyday life, whether you're talking to friends, co-workers, or even strangers, mastering these communication skills can make you feel more confident and help you connect with people on a deeper level. Johan may have used this charisma for darker purposes, but we can take the positive aspects of his communication style and use them to enhance our own lives. Number 2. Unshakable composure. You know how people frequently say, keep calm under pressure? Well, Johan takes this idea to a whole different level. Johan is the type of person who remains calm, almost unnervingly so, in the face of chaos or even someone pointing a gun at him. And why is this important? Because in real life, when things are spiraling out of control, how we react makes all the difference. There's this intense scene in Monster where Dr. Tenma, the protagonist, has finally tracked down Johan. Tenma is desperate, heartbroken, and filled with guilt because he saved Johan's life years ago, only to realize that Johan has become a monster responsible for countless deaths. So here's Tenma holding a gun, his hands shaking, pointing it straight at Johan. Now, what does Johan do in this life or death moment? Most people would panic, try to talk their way out or beg for their life, but not Johan. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't show a single sign of fear. Instead, he calmly tells Tenma to shoot as if it's no big deal. He even goes as far as to push Tenma emotionally, questioning if he is capable of pulling the trigger. In that moment, Johan's composure shows absolute control, not just of himself but of the entire situation. He knows that his calm demeanor is throwing Tenma off balance, making it harder for him to make a decision. Now, I am not saying we need to remain calm in front of life-threatening situations like Johan does, but the lesson here is about staying composed when things get tough. Life throws us into tough situations all the time, right? Maybe you have an important exam coming up, or you are dealing with a personal conflict that's overwhelming you. It's easy to feel like things are out of control. But here's the thing, when you lose your calm, you lose control over the situation. It's when you stay composed, just like Johan, then you can think clearly and make better decisions. And it shows confidence. Think about it, if you're in a heated argument and you are the one who remains calm, you're automatically the one in control. Everyone else might be reacting emotionally, but because you are composed, you can direct the conversation and get the outcome you want. Plus, by staying calm, you give yourself time to think of a better, more rational response instead of reacting impulsively. It's important to remember that composure isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about not letting those emotions take over and cloud your judgment. Begin small. When you're feeling stressed or anxious, take a few deep breaths, pause, and remind yourself that you are in control. The more you practice this, the more naturally it will come to you, and over time, you'll feel an increase in your confidence. Absolute self-belief. Johan never, and I mean never, doubts himself. Even when his actions are morally questionable or downright evil, his confidence doesn't waver for a second. Now, we are not talking about the same dark path he takes, but we can definitely learn from the way he carries himself with such unshakable certainty. Think about it, how many times have you second guessed yourself or thought, what if I am wrong? Johan doesn't do that. He makes a decision and commits to it fully. That's where his power lies, his unwavering confidence in his choices. And in real life, that kind of self-belief can push you to take bold steps, move forward without fear, and trust your instincts, all of which builds true confidence. Remember that moment when Johan disguises himself as Anna Liebert to manipulate Detective Suk? That scene blew my mind, and probably yours too. For most of the interactions, I was completely convinced that it was Anna talking to Suk. Johan's ability to step into another identity so seamlessly showed how deeply he believed in his own abilities. He had no doubt that he could pull it off. His confidence was so absolute that even the audience, that is us, didn't question it. We got drawn into his world and under his influence, just like the characters he manipulated. What makes this scene particularly so compelling is how Johan controls not only his own behavior, but also the perception of everyone around him, including Suk. He flawlessly mirrors Anna's mannerisms, speech, and expressions. His self-belief is so strong that he becomes what he needs to be in that moment. Even though we, as viewers, may have had a gut feeling something was off, Johan's confidence carried him through the disguise without a hitch. It wasn't until much later that we realized we were fooled. This level of confidence, the kind where you trust yourself so deeply that others believe in you without question, is something we can all aspire to be, but in positive ways. Now, I am not saying we should all go out and disguise ourselves as someone else to manipulate others. But what we can learn from Johan is that confidence grows from trusting in your abilities without second guessing yourself. So have you ever been in a situation where you are hesitant to speak up even though you know the answer? Or maybe you doubt a decision you made even though deep down you know that it's the right one. This kind of doubt is normal, but overcoming it is the key to developing confidence. When Johan steps into his disguise, he's not questioning whether he will pull it off. He just does it. That's what confidence looks like, trusting that you can handle whatever comes your way. Confidence doesn't mean perfection. It means trusting yourself to handle things even if they don't go exactly as planned. When you implement this idea positively by believing in ourselves and trusting our decision, it opens doors to personal growth and success. Number 4. Master of observation. Johan doesn't just observe people superficially, like noticing how someone dresses or speaks. No, Johan goes deeper. He studies people like he's peeling back layers of an onion. He watches for subtle cues, how someone reacts under pressure, what their eyes say when they're afraid, and how they behave when they think no one's watching. It's this intense attention to detail that gives him the upper hand in almost every situation. When Johan meets Schuall, the wealthy and powerful businessman, he doesn't rush into manipulating Schuall. Instead, he spends time studying him from a distance. He observes Schuall's weaknesses, his loneliness, his strained relationship with his son, and his longing for purpose. Johan uses this observation to build trust, crafting his words carefully to prey on Schuall's vulnerabilities. By the time Johan speaks to him, he is already in control of the situation. It's like watching a master chess player who's several moves ahead. This scene shows that Johan's confidence isn't just about charisma or dominance. It's about understanding human nature so deeply that he can predict what people will do before they even realize it themselves. So, how can we apply this to our real lives in a positive way? Let's say you are at a party or at a work event. Instead of feeling anxious about what to do or what to say, start by observing the room. Watch how people interact. Maybe you notice someone tapping their foot anxiously. They might be nervous about meeting new people just like you. Or you see someone checking their phone repeatedly. They could be uncomfortable or waiting for an excuse to leave. By picking up these small signs, you can approach these people in a way that makes them feel more at ease, instantly giving you confidence in the interaction. By mastering observation like Johan, but in a positive way, we can build better relationships, avoid misunderstandings, and handle difficult social situations with ease. The key is to approach every interaction with curiosity. What is this person really feeling? What do they need right now? When you start thinking like that, you will always find yourself becoming more confident because you will always feel a step ahead, just like Johan, but with a lot more empathy. So there you have it, Johan Liebert. On the surface, a character you would never expect to be so terrifying, but underneath, a master of control and confidence. It's wild, right? The way he carries himself even in the darkest moments shows how powerful confidence can be. And while we would never want to walk the same path he did, there's something valuable in how he believes in himself and commands every room he walks into. At the end of the day, confidence isn't about being loud or dominating a room. It's about being secure in yourself, knowing how to read the situation and staying calm under pressure. Johan's methods may be extreme, but the principle behind his confidence are something we can all use in a positive way. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.